Most cold emails sound like they were written by a robot. Here's the framework behind 10,000 plus positive replies that I've put together. It's a free tool that forces you to use that framework that I will be giving you a full demo on how to use in this video and giving you access as well. So the link will be in the description if you want to check it out and try it for yourself. Most people assume that other people are using AI to write their emails, which is fine in my opinion. The thing is, when you ask ChatGPT like, hey, write me an email, like I'm running it for this script, this potential strategy, if you've thought about it that much, it just writes the same generic type of email. And there's a lot of best practices that aren't included in that, which is sort of the foundation that's built inside of this sort of app that I put together. So most people just get a ton of pitches of these super standard emails, and we want to avoid that. So what I'm sort of providing you with is just sort of a framework of how to get the inputs to stand out and make your emails really just work a lot better. So a couple things about the framework. So we want to keep the emails as short as possible. So we're looking at like 25 to 55 words is what I put in the prompt. Soft call to actions, just because in this day and age, going for a straight trying to book a call like straight away is just not something that is as realistic anymore. You're much better off building some type of lead magnet, some type of offer where you can show someone your value, or send something customized or something of that nature, instead of just saying like, hey, let's book a call to talk about this. So yeah, really the main objective is leading with value, not just your pitch being let's book a call just because booking a call doesn't really stand out. Another piece of the framework is each variant has one pain point, one offer, one clear ask that you're going for. And then just in terms of the inputs, which we're about to go over, it really forces you to think about specifically who you're looking to target, what are your best case studies that match that target, and specifically what sort of dream companies would you want to work with is another one of the inputs. So I don't want to bore you too much with the checklist, but another couple more pieces. No spam words, no links, no emojis, subject lines 1 to 3 words. As well, the variables are built for Email Bison, so you might have to update that when you use it for yourself. But it's super easy to change that. So it's like first name or company will be in Email Bison style. No M dashes, just because we can't really get away with those anymore. Just because the AI overused them, so we can't be using those. And then plain text naturally, and that's also a setting that you should probably turn on in your sequencer, just to send no HTML or formatting in your email. So yeah, let's get right into the demo. So this is what the tool looks like, super as simple as possible of an interface, and we'll get straight into step 1. So let me zoom in a little. What segments or audience are you targeting? And in this case, I'm just building a super basic campaign where I'll be using a cold email agency as our sort of example. And then we'll say we're going for CEOs and head of sales, and just help with the titles. So, and then this question is really important. Ideally, you have sort of a doc that you already pre-trained AI on how to do this. But in this case, just because it's an example, we'll go broadly. So we help companies. So just, sort of a super basic line. I would have that already pre-built for your agency. 2 to 3 companies. So this is actually a really important one, because if you put these in, and it's optional, right? Like you don't need to, you can skip this. But what this will do, it's going to research these companies to find similar ones that you might be using. So we'll go sure, and then we'll go whisper flow. So these are just keywords that you think might be relevant for the targeting. And then case studies, we will take. Cool. And then you can quickly review your campaign, generate campaign, and then we'll wait a couple seconds, and this is the final product. So first thing I want to highlight is that you can easily export this in a doc format, and then you'll have this whole thing sort of ready to go as like a campaign brief, if that makes sense, or you can keep using this interface. So a couple things. In the first page, you get a recap of what segment, what headcount you went for, titles that you inputted, what social proof you inputted, what's your offer. And then here's that campaign sort of analysis. And you also get 3 variants in this campaign. So sort of hypothesis here, SaaS founders at this stage struggle with inconsistent pipeline because we are going for 11 to 50 and need a predictable outbound engine that works fast. Sounds good. Sales leaders are tired of slow ramp times and want a system that generates meetings within weeks, not months. Growth stage SaaS companies need volume and quality. 100K emails with 5% reply rates proves both are possible. A little bit of a mistake here because I said positive reply rates, but that's okay. And then 3 variants and why those would work. And then as well, if you were to build this, because you're gonna have to build this list, right? You can copy these like links, and these will just be comma separated to make your life easier. But what industries you could go for, what headcount you should input, so what to include, exclude, include keywords like main, recommended, extended, if you wanted to just see what it looks like in an actual scraping tool, and then what prospect filters you're actually looking for. And then from there, we're ready to go into email copy. So we have 3 variants, the strategy here. So lead with the 2-week timeline to appeal to founders who need fast pipeline. Cool. And then this writes copy very efficiently and how cold email should be done. And then subject lines also make sense, short to the point. Proof and numbers, open with 450 replies, social proof to establish credibility. So we helped a SaaS company generate 450 plus. Yeah, we said that here too. Okay. And it picked up the positive reply rates. So yeah, proof in the numbers, they went from 0 outbound, no cold email, inconsistent, to 100K, average reply rate 5%. Would it make sense to connect? And then last one is a volume plus quality angle, emphasize the combination of scale plus performance that most founders assume is impossible. Most founders think high volume or high quality, pick one. We send 100K at 5% reply rates, 2-week implementation, open and loading more. So yeah, super short copy. And this kind of gives you 3 different angles of how people might resonate with the market. So really the idea of cold email is that you test all 3 of these angles, you'd see which one performs better, and then you make iterations based on the variant that performs better, or if none of these pass like threshold stats, which would be at least this 5%, or actually that's not true. If you're looking at absolute volume, so like from the total amount of emails that you sent, you could be looking at 2% would be fine as like an absolute, and then 20% of your reply rates is also another sort of standard that you could be using to determine success. But again, every single offer is different, and it gets to a point where, like, let's say you've tested 9 different variants and they've all performed. Like nothing's been an outlier past maybe, I don't know, let's say like 1% of absolute volume, right? Then it gets to the point of like, we still want to launch some volume and we know we get some success here. So we're going to launch that 1%, like that 1% absolute campaign, keep running that, run some variants off of that, and just move on to building variants of that instead of just completely fresh angles, because you're kind of taking a gamble every single time of, can you even hit that 1%? So just a little bit of theory behind this. And then it highlights sort of the variables that you could run. I didn't build it in a way that like Clayagent would be built into this, or like custom prompts where like there's a specific variable that needs to be pulled that's based on their website, something like that. But you can definitely explore and work off of this copy. I just wanted to put together a tool that was, easy to use and sort of gave founders a starting point for copy, or really anyone. So yeah, the link is in the description, completely free to use. It'll be a Claude project. Use it, let me know what you think, and if you want more frameworks like this, leave a like and subscribe. All right, thank you, and have a good one.